Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour, your source for all hard rock, heavy metal, new metal, alternative, punk, horror punk, hardcore, rock, and all local bands, with your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather.
Hey, this is Blake from Devour The Day, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
The views and opinions of the guest do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Radio Network, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Radio Network.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather. As always, I'm bringing you guys awesome interviews. And today I have from the band Devour The Day, Mr. Blake Allison. Blake, how's it going, man?
Good, how you doing?
Doing really awesome. I'm glad you guys are finally on here. I've been a fan of you guys for a long, long time. As a fan, I just love your all's music, and thank you guys for that so far.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
You guys have a new album that's out right now, Time and Pressure. You guys have a new single that's out right now, Respect. Let's talk about this new album and how the fans are reacting to it.
About a year and a half ago, Joey and I started writing music for this record, and we put it together just as fast as we could and released the record almost immediately. And since then, man, we've had some really good tours and had some excellent shows. They just keep getting bigger and bigger, so we'll see how it's going, but so far it seems to be received really well. So we're really humbled and grateful that people are giving us some attention. How
much growth have you seen in this band from you and Joey? Because it's just you two, but how much growth have you seen go through from you guys?
Joey and I have, we're satisfied with what we've come up with on this first record, but we are already starting to work on another record right now. And as writers, I think we've come to grips with what we want to sound like, and on our first record we were just kind of taking shots in the dark, not really sure, what kind of band we were going to be, but I think we have a better grip on the sound that we're trying to create, but at the same time, I think part of what we're trying to do is make records where we don't have the same kind of songs, 12 songs in a row. We just want to, satisfy our musical needs by different types and different kinds and different styles of music.
What would you say some of your favorite tracks are off the new album from you guys?
I think my favorite is Respect, just because it's a lot of fun to play live, and it has a special meaning to me as far as something that I felt like I needed to say to our previous singer. And, other than that, I like all of them. Picking my favorite would be like picking my favorite child, and as much as I might hate one of them, I can't say it. I think it would hurt his feelings.
Since it's the digital age, do you think that it's helped bands out a lot like you guys, or do you think it's really hurt bands?
I think it does a little bit of both. I think that it was about time that somebody shook the system up, but at the same time, I think it hurts a lot of incredible musicians out there that have great music, but now they have no way to sell it. And now, at the same time, there's a great opportunity for anybody with a record to be able to put it on the internet. However, it's just really hard nowadays to get people to actually buy songs and buy records. I think it's done a lot for creativity for each individual musician, having to figure out how to work around this problem. And but at the same time, bands they can put themselves out at any time with with no budget. A band can put their music on the internet, and I think that's great. So I'd have to say I think it's like a double-edged sword. I think it works, and it also hurts.
With the new album that's out right now, Time and Pressure, what do you hope the fans take away from this album?
I hope they take the actual album and put it in their CD player or on their iPod, on their iPhone. However, our message has always been about overcoming obstacles, because Lord knows that we have plenty of them in our lives. So, self-expression and just sticking up for yourself, doing what you know you should should do in your heart. So that's that has been our band's coda.
Do you guys prefer clubs or festivals, or does it even really matter where you guys play at?
We don't care. We'll play for anybody, anywhere, anytime. They're all great, though. You know, all shows are great. Just being able to have the chance to perform, I think that's awesome.
You know, I really like your guys' new album that's out right now, because to me, what I'm feeling from it is you guys are putting out music that you are wanting to put out. It's not that we're putting it out because someone else wants us to, and that's what I like. Do you think that some bands nowadays have forgotten where they came from, you know, and they're just putting stuff out that shouldn't be? I mean, you should never, ever be scared to push the envelope. What's your opinion?
I think, you know, I can't say whether or not, you know, some people's music comes from the heart or not, because honestly I wasn't there when they wrote it, and I have no idea, you know, what it's like to be them. However, I do think that there's a side of music that is created by men behind curtains, and you know, they piece together music because they want to sell it. But I think that there's a little bit of that everywhere. However, I can't really judge anybody, because all I know is that I just put music down and record it and play it live, and that's it. That's my job.
You know, you guys had some awesome tours this year. Actually, still on tour right now, but you've had some awesome venues to play at. I mean, like Rock on the Range. I got to see you guys at Rock on the Range, and plus Carolina Rebellion. Let's talk about that. How was that for you guys?
Those shows, I don't think I'll ever forget, and just the energy that was there, and the way that those shows go, and the amount of people, and I mean, you just can't beat that. You know, I loved those shows. We had an amazing time, and a lot of people there. Made some new friends, made some new fans, and had a great time.
What can fans expect at a show from you guys?
We'll play the record. We'll play our music. We won't tell any jokes or try to do some, I don't know. We don't have a big production, but we try and play our music as with the most energy that we can muster.
What do you think that Devour the Day brings to the table for music?
You know, it's hard to say. It's like I don't know. Maybe I'm just too close to the project to be able to tell you what we're doing as far as, you know, changing the face of rock and roll. I think that's a big assumption, but I feel like we're just doing what we know how to do, and we're doing what we can do best.
What does it mean to you, either prior to a show or after a show, when a fan comes up and says, "Hey, your music has helped me out through a tough time, or just gave me inspiration"?
It means the world to us as lyricists, because obviously we've made a connection with somebody, and we've helped them get through something that means a lot to them. And I think that just being in that situation right there says a lot about people and their need for help, and I think, you know, we're just happy to be considered, or the fact that they could hear it, and that they could take that, and that they had enough courage to come say that to us, because you're admitting a lot of things when you walk up to somebody and say that, and mainly because we know what they are talking about. And I think that's a huge thing, and I'm very thankful that we're able to have that conversation.
First time you heard the fans sing along to your music, how was that, if you can recall?
You know, I've been playing music for a really long time, and I was spending most of my time behind the drums, so I couldn't really hear it, but I knew that they were doing it, and I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, it was one of our first shows in Memphis when we were a baby band, and I just remember I was looking at our bass player, and I know he couldn't hear me or anything like that, but I was mouthing the words. I was like, I believe I was saying something to the tune of I can't believe they actually like it. I can't believe they're actually they like them.
So in retrospect to that, how much is writing a relief for you?
It's therapy. You know, I mean, sometimes I've found myself in really, really, really bad situations emotionally, and that's very therapeutic, you know, and I figure having something to write about is a good thing. You know, sometimes it's a really bittersweet thing, but in the end, you know, having a piece of art that takes a snapshot of a particular time in my life or in our lives, you know, I think you know, you can hold on to that for a long time. So it helps ease the pain. And when that situation has run its course, you can look back and realize that, you know, you made it through it and it wasn't that bad, and you're still here. Yeah,
and I've always said that music is so therapeutic, and it speaks to each and every one of us on our own level. It's just amazing on what music can do for each one of us.
Exactly.
Who were some of your influences as far as music-wise?
I pretty much take what I can from everybody, but I grew up, you know, in the 90s, so I was listening to Green Day and Weezer and Metallica, and Red Hot Chili Peppers, and Rage Against the Machine. You know, that's one of my biggest influences, and I'm still listening to new bands. I just went to Warped Tour and saw 4 Year Strong, Yellow Card, and Born of Osiris, and a couple other bands, and that was great. And I mean, I really take influence from wherever I can. So our drummer listens to a lot of hip hop, and I find that extremely influential. And our guitar player listens to a lot of Jack White. I find influence there. So I mean, as long as it has a beat and it tells a story, I think you can find influence in it.
If you could choose a song that summed up Devour the Day, what would that be?
You know, I think it's too much to bottle up into one statement. We are a complex organism.
Are you guys on tour right now? Looks like the last one I see here is August the 23rd. That's in Louisville, Kentucky. That's at the State Fair, actually, here in my home state of Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are going to be playing with some awesome people on this tour, too. You got Freeman Haley, you got 3 Days Grace, Rob Zombie, and the Mighty Joan Jett. How is it playing with these bands? Or have you got to play with them before?
Yeah, we played with a couple of them before, and I mean, we've been on tour with a lot of great bands this year, and we look forward to doing it again when we put out another record. But we are coming to the end of this tour cycle, and we're going to go back in and start writing another record, and hopefully have some new music. But so far, I mean, everybody's really nice. You know, we haven't played with anybody that's an asshole, so everybody seems pretty cool.
That's always a plus.
Yeah, I'll say that, and then the next guy I'll meet will be a total jerk. But we'll see.
Oh, that's always a plus, man. I want to thank you for taking time out to do this interview with me. I really appreciate it, Blake. I really like your guys' music, and as a music fan, thank you guys for your music.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for your time, and I appreciate it, and have a good day.
Hey, man, before I let you go, how can people get a hold of you guys to stay in touch, check out your websites and things like that for touring and buying your merch? How can they do that?
We have we have DevourTheDay.com, and you can find everything there. We have Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Spotify. If it's a website and it has something to do with music, we're on it.
And before I let you go, will you care to do a promo for the show?
Sure. Hey, this is Blake from Devour the Day, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. And you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour. If you get a chance, get out and check out Devour the Day. You won't be disappointed, trust me. Thank you guys so much. Thanks, Blake.
Yeah.
You're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.